Welcome back. This is The Globe. Indonesian officials say more than 1,000 people could still be missing after last week's devastating earthquake and tsunami. Officials had previously estimated that around 100 people were missing. Meanwhile, power has been restored to some shops and banks have reopened in the worst affected city of Palu. More than 1,500 people are confirmed to have died, but the total is expected to rise. The search and rescue operation continues and it is centered in Palu. Officials fear that hundreds are still missing and many more bodies are yet to be discovered as search and rescue continues. It's believed that there are still some towns and villages completely engulfed in mudslides. The Indonesian government has said it's doing all it can. Foreign aid is also arriving, but in terms of formality, coming back, rebuilding the city, the government estimates could take up to 2 years. Meanwhile, as Indonesia reels from 2 earthquakes in a space of 2 months, South Africans have opened their hearts and wallets through a humanitarian mission spearheaded by KwaZulu-Natal-based NGO Gift of the Givers. The NGO has deployed more than 15 volunteers to assist with search and rescue. And for the latest on their mission and the earthquake and tsunami-torn island of Palu in Indonesia, we're joined by our correspondent, Njanji Chauke. A very good evening to you, Njanji. Thank you so much for joining us. What's the latest from the ground? And do you want to indulge us on what the latest death toll is?
Yes, actually it's good morning from us here in Jakarta. It's actually 10 to 3 in the morning. Well, we arrived here in the early hours of Friday morning with a group of volunteers under the auspices of the KwaZulu-Natal based NGO Gift of the Givers. They comprise paramedics, doctors, as well as search and rescue experts who are here to try and help those people that are affected by this disaster in that island city of Palu in central Indonesia. As you know, that Gift of the Givers this year was marking 26 years of doing humanitarian work around the globe. So whenever there's a disaster somewhere in the world, they first wait for a call for international assistance. And indeed, on Thursday afternoon, there was that call that was made to the world by the Indonesian authorities for assistance. And we saw a mission that got underway on the South African side. But joining me to talk a bit more about the involvement of some of the volunteers here is the head of the Free State Disaster Management, Mr. Marcus Butler. Thanks for joining us. I've seen you in previous missions before. I think we were in the Philippines and Nepal together before. Why do you keep coming back to such missions?
Good morning, Njanji. I think one has to have a meaningful job in life. You know, this is not a job. For me, it's more like a calling. You know, to live meaningful, to spread the spirit of Ubuntu all over the world. The reason why I'm always coming back is that you know, I have to thank the Heavenly Father for blessing me with a set of skills that I can utilize all over the world and live my life and my career as meaningful as possible. But in saying that also, Njanji, I have to give thanks to my wife and my family for allowing me the opportunity to come on this mission as I know when we are deployed overseas or on missions, we create that emotional stress amongst them. So one, I have to thank them for allowing me to live out this calling of mine. And I feel the pain that when we are on this mission, because we are putting them on so much stress and emotional discourse that it's unbelievable. Because we have to, when we are here, we have to think about their well-being as well over there. But you know, a job creates social well-being. It creates a paycheck. But when it's a calling, Njanji, you know, when the Lord has blessed you with a set of skills that you, as an individual, has to go out to the world and you know, give that set of skills over to the world, and help those people in distress, you know. And we in South Africa have that special word. It's called Ubuntu.
I know that you are the head of disaster management in the Free State, but when you normally go on such missions, what do you do exactly? For instance, like on Sunday morning, we'll be heading to the epicenter in Pula. What role will you be playing?
You know, my mission here, when I'm calling on a mission, is not to be involved. I'm there in the front line, you know, because Gift of the Givers have the individuals that my mission is here to help people, to guide and advise what to do on such mission. And I want to thank Gift of the Givers for giving me the opportunity, always giving me the opportunity to be deployed on such a mission. But my main focus is to practice a set of skills that I was given in these missions.
Well, what can we expect as we arrive in Pula? We know there are reports that there are still many villages that are quite remote that have not been reached as yet. We also understand that there is one area where it was a church. There were about 1,000 people there, most of them children. And apparently that area was quite devastated, and then it was destroyed by the earthquake and the subsequent tsunami. What kind of devastation can we possibly expect upon our arrival there, especially those areas that have not been accessed as yet?
Okay. Njanji, it will be difficult to determine what the extent of the damages is and the extent of how people are living currently with the devastation that had happened there. Our main focus, and it's critical that we maintain our safety first. You know, safety for the mission, safety for each and every individual before we can go out. And that's why pre-planning is so pivotal in disaster management, that to mitigate each and every situation that we will encounter there. So in the morning you will see we have various encounters with one another, planning, mitigating, how if we are going to meet such a situation, how are we going to mitigate that so that we as rescue practitioners are safe there. And practice safe there so that we can, our families that back in South Africa can be as well, say rested and say, you know, our husbands, our friends, family are safe there in that remote areas that they are going to. Our mission is there to go, to see what we can do, to render humanitarian aid. Those that needs to be rescued, we will rescue and form search and rescue teams as well.
All right. And then tell us about a group of people that have been brought along from South Africa, and what kind of supplies are you bringing in?
Well, Njanji, as you said, we are a diverse group of skills that we have. We have firemen, we have paramedics, we have nurses, we have doctors, so that when we go on this mission, we must not struggle because all those skills are pivotal in what we are going to do there. We're being strategists with us. We head of the centers, like for instance me, just to render that kind of advice where we are going.
All right. Oh, that's all we had time for, and we just want to give it back to you, studio. We'll be speaking to you again tomorrow morning. It's back to Johannesburg.